What other games call the endgame is where we begin in the 4X masterpiece Master of Magic. What other game allows you to select some of the endgame abilities at the start? For example, in this game we get to use Stream of Life at the beginning to break some very fundamental rules. We get to ignore unrest by taxing the ever-loving shit out of our empire. This makes us more rich than what we can spend in the end of the game. Our race also love pumps each other like bunnies and maximizes its population. This gives us constant production dominance for a good economy to support an even better military. Combine this with the fact that life has the best unit buff spells in the game, and we have very strong synergy between the elven units with bonus to hit. While all of this makes me sound like I know what I am doing, there is one thing we should never forget. Old Master of Magic is a pretty buggy game at times, and we will face its wrath. As you can see, the game starts to go crazy here towards the end, with giving Galleys almost every ability in the game.
You've gotta be kidding! A game for kids and
Old man!
The beginning of the game of Master of Magic is all about land grab. We need to get the land that hosts the biggest cities. We need to then hold on to those cities and defend them. It's easy to overexpand and underdefend in this game, especially when trying to beat the AI with speed. Our first city is all about rushing to get longbowmen so we can easily defend our weak cities. I set up a quick Stream of Life and then use the extra gold from max taxation to fund our buildings that can produce the longbowmen. We easily defend our capital city using life spells to make elite units that can deal a lot of damage with their bonus to hit and extra stats per figure. I spot some good city expansions and produce 2 longbowmen to defend each city we settle. This combined with the heroism spell to make elite longbowmen means we can decimate the enemy who attacks us. Meanwhile, we must weaken Cherie before she claims too much of the continent and views me as weak pickings. So it's time to bully Cherie, and it comes in a hilarious and unexpected way. I sent this little spearman to do some scouting while I build up more longbowmen. This spearman got an impressive kill count, 1 town, a whole army, and a couple of other encounters before running away and dying. You spearmen are legendary. I give you a statue in your honor. Cherie still has not declared war on me after my atrocities, so all of this is still a cold war. I build up a critical mass of longbowmen and use them to mow down raiders and her weak spearman probes. Our 2 front towns of Hell's Gate and Heaven's Gate are now both producing longbowmen, while the back town scales up its economic structures. Stream of Life keeps us filled with gold at 66 per turn, which is awesome for 3 towns. Cherie declares war upon us. This is perfect timing. I have a present for her and it rhymes with marrow. Along the way though, I want to clear away this Klaken city. It holds a 20 population city slot. This will be perfect for another economic city that we can mature quickly by dumping all our gold into it. And so we cut a bloody swath through Cherie's forces, razing all of her cities to the ground. I don't want to have to worry about holding any of her cities. Plus, High Elves have terrible race relations, and I would have a bunch of rebels to worry about. The assault on Cherie's fortress would have been challenging if I did not have the superior numbers. Those sprites don't get range penalties for attacking and are flying, but our archers are more than up for the task, even with a few casualties. Goodbye, Cherie, you jungle vertigo dizzy she-dog. Taking out our first rival indicates a shift to the endgame for us. We will have access to our entire continent. We have research structures stood up at all of our towns. Now we will consolidate our riches into escalating our military and spell power. To do this, we will need to acquire Elvish Lords and the Lionheart spell. On to victory. Our final opponents are going to be Jafar, Ariel, and Lopan on Mirror Plane. My goal is to scout out each of their territories to find their fortresses. This is so they will not be able to constantly harass my armies with spells. We build 2 new towns and start pouring gold into them so they can give us more research and more gold in the long run. Our 3 other towns have grabbed merchant guilds and are now giving us a ton of gold and production. I also get very lucky and manage to research Incarnate. This will give us Torin the Chosen. He is legendary and master of magic games. He has magic immunity, a strong caster stat, great melee abilities, and whenever he is killed, you can bring him back with all of his previous experience by casting Incarnate again. Torin is our most powerful unit and able to assault cities by himself, especially after being powered by buffs that increase all of his stats. A combination of Torin and Elvish Lords decimate Lopan by destroying his fortress first, and then his smaller cities. I lose a bunch of fame. Such is the cost for not having to hold a bunch of useless cities. Back in Arcanus, our other assault force is led by an angel that buffs our entire army. Elvish Lords with the Lionheart and heroism buffs destroy huge swaths of Jafar's forces. Jafar is nothing more than annoyance, especially after his stalemate of a war with Ariel. Something in Jafar's battle has crippled our game file, though. The game begins to corrupt by giving Galleys a bunch of abilities. This is not good. It is always hard to tell what has happened. But this means we are on a countdown to Game Armageddon and being incompletable. I task Torin with taking on Ariel at her fortress. Her forces offer no challenge. I am hoping to beat the game before it totally corrupts itself. However, I try to finish off the last town by Ariel and Mirror, but the game repeatedly crashes. So it is time to call this game to an end. We have seen the birth of a nation of Doomer Elves. They were superpowered by the ultimate city-scaling buff stream of life. We witnessed the ultimate power of Spearman. We have summoned the mightiest of heroes, Torin the Chosen, and destroyed all of the mightiest wizards of both planes. It is time to close this epic adventure. I will see you all on the next one. Ave, atque, vale, mal.